What's going on, everybody? This video is my NXT TakeOver London review video. Just happened a couple hours ago. Probably ended, I would say, let's see, probably ended over 2 hours ago. But I got home late. I couldn't get home to watch it live. I did get home to see the end of Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, their title match. It was pretty damn good. Let's start the review now. Kicked off, NXT TakeOver London kicked off with Asuka versus Emma, women's match. And it was great. I already knew that Emma could work, but damn, she looked great in this match. She did a lot of great stuff in this match. And I was glad to see Emma finally get on an NXT TakeOver and have a match on a TakeOver, because I don't think she's been on any TakeOvers and has had any one-on-one matches, except for in 2014, I think, was the last time Emma was on TakeOver, was the first TakeOver against Paige for the NXT Women's title in February 2014. So Emma, it's been a long time since we have seen her on an NXT TakeOver. She deserved to be on a TakeOver show because she's damn good in the ring, and she looks damn good. I'm a big fan of Emma. Whatever she does in her career, I will always support her. She's very nice, very sweet, and very nice to me on Twitter. Always favorites and likes a lot of my tweets I say about her. Or tweet about Emma, and she usually sees it and likes it. She doesn't respond much, but she's probably too busy. It doesn't bother me. So Emma, she showed how great she was in this match. She's a hell of a worker, hell of a women's wrestler. Same goes for Asuka. Asuka's damn good. She is very good in the ring. Her style is awesome. It's pretty brutal sometimes, and she can be kind of stiff, but that's how she works. I'm sure Emma didn't mind. So they had a very good women's match. It was very good. And Dana Brooke kept interfering a lot, distracting the ref. She threw a weapon in the middle of the ring. Emma was laying down in the corner. Emma got it. Tried to use the weapon on Asuka, but it didn't work. Emma got locked in they were calling it the Asuka lock. She was locked in that, but I believe then Dana Brooke started climbing in under the bottom rope to get in the ring to distract the ref some more. The ref throws out. Dana Brooke throws her out from ringside, makes her leave. And while the ref was throwing out Dana Brooke, Emma was doing this. She tapped out. The ref did not see it, but it didn't matter anyway, because after that, Asuka defeats Emma, and it was the right decision to put Asuka over, but I would have liked to see Emma get a win here. Doesn't really matter. It was still a really great, entertaining women's match to kick off TakeOver London. Up next, we had the NXT Tag Team title match. Tag Team titles on the line. Dash and Dawson defending against Enzo and Big Cash. In this match, the crowd went nuts. Before I talk about this match, I just want to say the London fans at TakeOver were great. They were really into the show. It was a hot crowd, and every time you have a hot crowd for a wrestling pay-per-view or a special event on the network, anytime the crowd is hot and the crowd is a good crowd, it always is going to make the show better and have a bigger feel to it and just be great. It's great to watch when the crowd is hot for the entire show. So, tag title match. Enzo, Big Cash come out. They get a huge reaction, a huge pop. Enzo does his gimmick, says all his catchphrases on the mic. And Big Cash gets in the ring, does his stuff on the mic. It was great. The crowd loved it. The crowd ate it up. Enzo is absolutely, the guy is super over. And Big Cash is too, but I think Enzo is even more over. And Enzo may be the most popular wrestler in NXT history. Under him would probably be Finn Balor as the second or first most popular. It's tied between Enzo and Finn, I think. So the tag title match was very good. It was a classic, old school tag team title match. It felt like Dash and Dawson were Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard teaming up. If you haven't seen Arn and Tully team up, watch their matches on the network. It's worth it. Check out Clash of Champions from the probably 88. Arn and Tully are on there teaming up. They team up at Starrcade 87, did Arn and Tully. They teamed up at Great American Bash 88. This is all on the network. Obviously, if you have the network, you probably watched NXT TakeOver London. So you can check out, go to the Vault section, check out old Clash of Champions, and check out the old WCW pay-per-views, Great American Bash 88 and Starrcade 87. If you want to watch Ole and Arn, not Ole and Arn, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson team up. They were a hell of a tag team, and Dash and Dawson remind me of them, and they remind me of Ole and Arn when they teamed up. I'm talking about Ole Anderson and Arn Anderson when they were in the Horsemen, and they were called the Anderson Brothers. Well, they were a great team in the late 80s in the NWA. This was a classic tag match. Dash and Dawson did a lot of old classic heel type tag team moves. They were tagging in and out, and they were doing great stuff. I think it was Dawson, I don't think it was Dash. I think it was Dawson did a slingshot suplex. Tully Blanchard used to do that move all the time. That reminded me of Tully. Anyways, the finish, I really thought Enzo and Big Cash were going to win the tag titles, but they fooled me. And the booking of this match was pretty damn good. It was entertaining. The entire tag match was entertaining, and it was great to watch and fun to watch. The finish, as I said, fooled me. I thought Enzo and Big Cash were going to pull it out and win the tag titles finally, because they still haven't been the NXT tag champs, and they've been there like 3 years in NXT at least. And they've probably been teaming up 2.5 years, I think, or 2 years. So Enzo and Cash, hopefully in 2016 they win the tag titles because they deserve to. The finish was Carmella got involved on the outside. One of the tag champs, Dash, whatever his name is, Doss and Dashin, whatever the hell their names are. I don't really remember. Or I do remember, I just can't fucking pronounce them right now for some reason. He holds Carmella, and then Carmelo hit a back elbow on him, but that didn't really work because they took out Colin on the, outside the ring. They take him out, so he couldn't help Enzo. Enzo was on the top rope. They trip him up, throw him off the top rope into their finisher with that knee, where they throw him up in the air, or they hold their opponent up in the air, and he comes down, knees him in the face. It's like a code breaker move. So they hit the code breaker move off the top rope to Enzo. 1, 2, 3, Doss and Dash in, retain the tag titles. It was a good match, as I said, a very good tag match. But I would have liked to see Enzo and Colin win, but I guess it's not their time to win the tag titles yet, because Doss and Dashin just won them probably 2 or 3 months ago. So it's not their time yet to lose them. Enzo and Big Cash, they will get their time, and hopefully they will get a tag title run, because they deserve it. as being one of the most over teams in NXT history. And hopefully when I go to NXT in January live, Enzo and Big Cash would be there, because I want to see them there live. It would be great atmosphere, great, energy from the audience when Enzo does his catchphrase. I want to be there live to hear that and to hear the reaction it gets. It's going to be awesome when I go to NXT in January. I can't fucking wait for it. Up next was, in this video, I doubt I'll go 20 minutes. Maybe I will, but who knows. I doubt I'll go 30 minutes. I'll just say that, because there are only 5 matches, and I'm already done with 2 of them. Up next was Baron Corbin against Apollo Crews. Baron Corbin owned, basically, Crews the entire match almost. Really beat the hell out of him and was in control the entire match. I thought Apollo would pull out a victory, but I was wrong. Baron Corbin, shockingly, hits the end of days, and then 1, 2, 3. Crews does not kick out. I thought he would, but he did not kick out. Baron Corbin gets a victory on an NXT TakeOver. Good for him. I don't hate the guy. I don't really like him. I'm not a big fan of Baron Corbin, but I don't dislike him either. Up next was the NXT Women's Championship. Bayley versus Nia Jax, and this had a big match feel to it. This had a main event type feel to it. The crowd was super into it. Before the match, before the women's title match, they showed a video package of Sami Zayn returning and coming back. He will be back at next week's NXT TV. He'll be on next week's NXT on the network. It just said Sami Zayn next week in the video. So I'm sure he taped a match prior to NXT TakeOver London going live. I'm sure they taped a whole 3 or 4 matches, or at least 2 matches for next week's NXT TV. So Sami Zayn probably taped a match in front of the London crowd for next week's NXT TV is my guess. Hopefully that happened, that it was in front of the London crowd, because I don't think they're going back to Full Sail to do any tapings, because they did a couple matches in London before TakeOver London went live. They announced also a fatal 4-way tag team match to take place next week on NXT TV. It has Jason Jordan and Chad Gable in it. Has the Vaudevillains in it, Blake and Murphy in it, and the Hype Bros are in it for next week's TV. So then they go to Nia Jax in a backstage interview where Nia Jax is about to start talking, and then she says, "Hold on a minute," and starts walking away from the interview, and then they show Asuka is just standing there staring at Nia Jax. So then Asuka has a stare down with Nia Jax, and then Nia Jax says something to her like, "What are you looking at?" And then Asuka just keeps staring at her, and then does a little smile like this, like does a little smile to Nia Jax. That was great. Asuka's character is great. I really enjoy it, how she's portrayed on TV. It's awesome. So right there they teased us with a future Asuka versus Nia Jax match or feud. I think those matches would be pretty awesome. So then the NXT Women's Championship match starts. Bayley comes out after Nia Jax. Nia Jax gets pretty booed and doesn't really get cheered at all when she came out. Bayley gets a huge pop, huge reaction. Bayley is one of the most popular superstars, male or female. Bayley is one of the most at least, popular NXT superstars that NXT has. Bayley is it. The fans love her. The fans respect her. Little kids love her. Older fans love her. Bayley is great. I can't say enough about how great Bayley is as a champion and as a wrestler and as a person. She's great. And she should hold on to the women's title for a very long time because she is the NXT women's division. Bayley should be the number one focus in the top female for a very long time in NXT. So on to the match. It was a pretty good match. Old school monster heel working tight match where the monster heel was basically Nia Jax did not have to do that much because she's she has been built as a monster heel. So she didn't have to do much in this match. All she did was a whole bunch of leg drops to the back of Bayley's head and to the front of her neck. What else did she do? A lot of power moves that monster super heavyweight heels do. In the future, Nia Jax doesn't really have to do that much because she is a super heavyweight. And that's all she has to really work as, is being a super heavyweight heel. So she doesn't have to do that much in her matches. And this match was built great. The booking of it was great. Bayley kept fighting back. Bayley kept kicking out. Nia Jax just put her foot on Bayley's chest. Bayley pushed her foot off and kept kicking out. And then she leg dropped her in the back of the head, back of the neck, like two or three times. Pinned Bayley. I thought it was over. Bayley kicked out again. She kept kicking out. She wouldn't quit because obviously she didn't want to lose her title. So then the finish was where Bayley was up on the turnbuckle and Nia Jax went up on the turnbuckle and was about to Samoa drop her off the top or off the second rope. Samoa dropped Bayley. That would have probably been the match. If she would have hit that move, Nia Jax would probably be the new women's champion. If she would have hit that Samoa drop off the top rope or second rope, whatever. Same thing almost. So she did not hit the Samoa drop. Bayley started fighting out of it, punching her in the gut, punching her in the ribs. Nia Jax falls off the second rope, takes a back bump. Bayley gets up, and Nia Jax gets up again, climbs up to the rope again, I believe. And then Bayley hooks on a choke, starts choking her out from the second rope. And Nia Jax pulls Bayley off with her down to the ring. Bayley still has a choke hooked on Nia Jax, the challenger. Still has a choke hooked on Nia. Nia does not quit. Nia does not tap. She gets out of it, slams Bayley down to the mat viciously, throws her off of her. But then again, Bayley locks a choke on Nia Jax again. Nia does not tap out. She breaks out of it. And when she's sitting down, or somehow Nia Jax started sitting down, or Bayley punched her or something. Nia Jax fell on her ass, and then Bayley locked the choke on for the third time. She locks a choke on Nia Jax, starts choking her out by sitting down, Bayley wraps her legs around Nia, choking her out, choking her, trying to get her to tap out. Nia will not tap. She won't tap. I thought she was going to pass out, and the ref was going to have to do this, lift her arm up 3 times, and then stop the match that way. But Nia did not pass out. She does this. She finally taps out. That was pretty surprising that they had Nia Jax tap out like that because she is a monster heel, but it won't hurt her career either way, I don't think, by tapping out to the champion, Bayley, because this, just having Bayley choke her out like that in the finish of the match, this just shows you that Bayley is a strong fighting champion and can defeat anybody, basically. The defeat will not hurt Nia Jax. I could even see her getting a rematch against Bayley in a month or in a couple weeks. She could get a rematch on NXT TV again. But if they if they go in the direction of having Nia Jax take on Bayley in like 2 more championship matches or something like that. I don't think you can have Nia job 2 more times to Bayley, because that wouldn't help Nia Jax at all. But whatever. I'm just saying, if Nia Jax would lose to Bayley 2 more times, she wouldn't look like a strong heel monster at all anymore. But whatever. Nia reminds me, when I was watching match, I kept thinking about Yokozuna for some reason. Not saying Nia Jax is as big as Yokozuna, but she reminds me of him because she's a super heavyweight diva. She's the only diva that is a big girl like she is. She also reminds me of Awesome Kong and Yokozuna. But Nia Jax is a heel. She doesn't have to be a great wrestler. All she has to do is just be booked like a monster and do a lot of power moves that a super heavyweight would do. Like the way that Vader would work, or Yokozuna would work. They didn't have to do that much. Even though Vader did way more than Yokozuna, and Vader could do way more than Yokozuna could, because Yokozuna got way too obese. So Bayley retains by Nia Jax tapping out after Bayley locked the choke on her for the 3rd time in the match. Nia finally tapped out. I was really happy for Bayley. She deserves to have a long run as NXT Women's Champion, people. She deserves it because she is that damn good. And she's the face of the women's division, and she should be the face of it for a very long time. So up next was a main event match. Finn Balor against Samoa Joe, defending the NXT title against Joe. Crowd was really into this. When Joe came out, his entrance, a lot of fans were chanting his name, Joe, Joe, Joe. They were doing a lot of Joe chants. And then Finn Balor comes out as an epic entrance. But during his entrance, the only thing I could think of during Finn Balor's entrance was, it reminded me of Jeff Hardy a lot. I don't know why, probably because how he was dressed, in the demon gimmick, in the demon character. He had like dreadlocks or whatever the hell that was, dreadlocks hanging out of his hat, his little top hat he had on. Just reminded me of a Jeff Hardy entrance, because that's basically how Jeff Hardy would do all his entrances, is he would walk like Finn Balor and be dressed up with paint all over his face like the demon. But he wasn't a demon character, but still, Finn's entrance, all I could really think of is, it reminded me of Jeff Hardy's entrance. Not saying that's a bad thing, but whatever. Doesn't really matter what I thought. But it just made me think of Jeff Hardy. I thought I'd share that. So, Finn, Joe have a great knockdown, drag-out, kick-ass world title match. Or NXT championship match. They don't call the NXT title the world title for some reason, whatever. They just call it the NXT championship or NXT title. They had a kick-ass world title match, or NXT title match. I just said world again for some reason. Whatever. Joe, Finn had a great match, great world title, great NXT title match. Joe, I thought, should have won the title, but doesn't really matter because he lost. Won't hurt Samoa Joe in the future. And Finn Balor, him winning and retaining the title, just tells me that he's not going to the main roster before WrestleMania. I don't think he is. And I think it'd be a better decision and better idea to keep Finn in NXT until the summer. At least until the end of SummerSlam, or right before SummerSlam, maybe have Finn Balor debut on the main roster. But the guy is the champion, he retained. So maybe Finn Balor will get a WrestleMania match as defending the NXT title at WrestleMania. Maybe he'll get a WrestleMania match because he's an NXT champion. Who knows? If WWE will have an NXT title match at WrestleMania 32, I don't know. But if they do, Finn Balor deserves to be involved in WrestleMania because he is the NXT champion. Joe busted his ass. Almost got the win over Finn, but Finn did a couple double foot stomps off the top onto Joe's back. That was brutal. That was vicious. That was pretty awesome. Joe kicked out. Joe locked a Kakita clutch on Finn a few times. Finn didn't tap. Finn Balor wins. As I said, he retains the NXT championship. He's still the NXT champion. Bayley is still the NXT women's champion. And the tag champs, Dash and Dawson, are still the NXT tag team champions. So out of the 3 title matches at NXT TakeOver London, no titles changed hands. That's pretty surprising, but I got no problem with it. The show was pretty damn good. I enjoyed it. If I would give it a grade, I would say NXT TakeOver London was a B, or close to a B plus, or a B. Very good show, really good show. Didn't drag on too long. It didn't go close to 3 hours. That's a good thing that it didn't go on forever. All the matches that they put on, the 5 matches on TakeOver London, all 5 of them were pretty damn entertaining and not boring. So that's a good thing. Anyways, as I said, I give TakeOver a B or B plus. Very good show. Hope you all enjoyed it and saw it. If you didn't see NXT TakeOver London, watch it or get the network and you'll see it. Hope you enjoyed my NXT TakeOver London review. Bye for now, everybody.